Hi everybody, hope you're doing well and staying pain-free. Um, Today I want to talk about a subject that I wasn't going to cover until much later on because there was so much that still want to talk about in ankylosing spondylitis itself. Um, However, this particular subject is actually caused mainly caused by my ankylosing spondylitis, and because of the recent incidents, I thought it might be a good time for me to cover this subject now. What I want to talk about today is restrictive lung disease. Now, you heard about many people heard about obstructive lung disease (COPD), but this is restrictive lung disease. And what really is restrictive lung disease? Restrictive lung disease, it's really just exactly as the name described it. It's the lung that is restricting from expanding. Um, it's like a balloon, when you squeeze the balloon and trying to blow it, it's really hard to blow the balloon big enough. So it is restricting my lung to expand. So that is exactly what it is. Um, the reason why I want to bring this up now is because recently, me and a couple of friends, we went on a trip, a road trip. We drove across country. The East Coast, it was extremely fun. Not much happening. I mean, nothing happened. But when we got to the central U.S., where all the national park is, Yellowstone, uh, I had high altitude sickness. Yellowstone was sitting at about 8,000 feet high. When I got up there, I was short of breath. My chest was hurting. Um, I was having a hard time breathing and headaches, dizzy. With the restrictive lung disease, it's not just a normal high altitude sickness where people get a little nauseous and things like that, and they'll probably get over it pretty soon. But with the restricted lung, I was not able to get enough oxygen. My chest was tight, so it was squeezing. So I got pretty severe, and we have to pretty much end at Yellowstone and drove down, and I have to thank both of my friends who are really concerned about my condition, and they drove hours for me to get to a much lower altitude. So a little disclaimer: I'm not a medical professional. I don't have any good medical trainings. Things that I talked about are mainly conditions that are affected me, and it's more of my journey with all of my conditions. All the medication, if any I talked about, are medication that I've been used now or in the past or possibly still in the future, and that's really my own medications. And if you have any medical questions, medical concerns, please address that to your doctor. Talk to your doctor for advice. Thank you. Lung disease. So there are two types of lung disease. There is obstructive and there's restrictive. I have not heard of restrictive until when my doctor said I have restrictive lung. So mostly when we hear lung disease, a lot of people think it's obstructive lung disease, COPD. Uh, what it is in between the two is COPD, obstructive lung disease, is when the person have obstructive lung, they're not able to get all of the carbon monoxide out of the body. That's obstructive. But with restrictive lung disease is not able to get enough oxygen in when I breathe in, or people who has restrictive lung disease, when they breathe in, we cannot breathe in 100% of the oxygen uh, because of the restricting lung, it cannot be expanded. So that is restrictive versus obstructive. So both of these conditions can be caused by, say, fibrosis, other destructive lung conditions. But in restrictive lung disease, a lot of the causes are by ankylosing spondylitis, which is the main cause for me. Arthritis, scoliosis, obesity. Obesity can also cause restrictive lung because, when a person is too large with a lot of fats, it restricts the lung from expanding to a particular size that normal people can. With obstructive, again, obstructive can be caused by other conditions like asthma or COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, which we talk about, bronchitis, fibrosis. Again, can cause both of the conditions. So I have some images here. So what I'm looking at is on the left side here. Now, if you look at this particular image, the restrictive lung tends to be smaller than the obstructive. Obstructive lung can remain the same size as any normal lung, but in restrictive, you cannot get 100% of the oxygen in, and in obstructive, you cannot get 100% of the CO2 out. So that's the difference between the two, and both has very similar symptoms. Now, in my case, if you look at Mr. Skeleton here, I have a complete fused spine, and due to the fusion, the side of the rib cage is pretty much fused and locked. The front, not so much, but there's a couple on my left side here, I believe, if I remember what my doctor told me. But then again, when your back portion here, it cannot expand. Here's the regular lung. Your chest expansion, my chest expansion, there was just no expansion. Now, in a normal person, there's about 2 inches in expanding the chest for the lungs to fill the oxygen. Because of the rib cage, it's pretty much fused. When I take a breath, the chest, there's no expansion in the chest at all. So whatever the capacity that the lung has inside is what it is. It's what I have currently. This particular picture here, this is actually my x-ray, and this is the spine that's completely fused, is what you call the bamboo spine. Now, the symptoms of both of these particular lung condition are very, very similar. You get short of breath, low energy when you don't have enough energy, wheezing, which I don't have, which is still good. A lot of the obstructive would probably have wheezing. Coughing, if you don't have enough oxygen, you'll be coughing. Chest pain I do have from time to time, but it's not severe enough that to say my lung is completely failing at the moment. And many of the both of these lung disease, there's a lot of concerns about it. People with low lung capacity are pretty much quite afraid of viruses like the flu, the cold, all the other viruses, and including COVID. When COVID was first hit in the beginning, where the strength was extremely uh, dangerous, I got quite scared, very scared. I and we There's really no treatments for it. Now there are treatments, and the disease has a lot. It's being a lot less destructive. Uh, it's gotten a lot better, but it's still I'm still afraid of it. So whenever I know somebody is sick, I try to avoid them as much as possible. Now, how I got diagnosed was not really directly having lung issues, but I had a major anxiety issues where I was having extremely short of breath. I was getting chest pain. I was having all kinds of particular issues like panic attack and all that. Throw me in the hospital many times. So the first thing that got checked out was make sure my heart was good. So I got cardiologist, did all kinds of stress tests and all that. And when that was clear, um, I was still getting a lot of short of breath. And from there, I was referred to a pulmonologist, and the pulmonologist did a lot of the work like X-rays and ultrasound, MRIs, and they do see that because of my ankylosing spondylitis, they know is restrictive. So that's the first one I heard of restrictive lung disease. But even though knowing that I have restrictive lung disease, he doesn't know how much lung capacity I still have. So there's further tests that needs to be done. It's called a pulmonary function test. These are charts here that I just pulled from the internet. So the I don't know how to explain these charts to you because I'm not very scientific or I don't have any medical degree. But you can tell the between what the normal, obstructive, and restrictive, and the graph. It's very different. So these tests will the doctors can read this, and they'll tell you it's either obstructive or restrictive. And here's uh, another graph here. It's different. They can tell. And most of the time, with people who have ankylosing spondylitis, like or arthritis, it's most likely will be restrictive lung disease. So again, it was about maybe 20 somewhat years ago already. It's when I was first diagnosed with this condition. I always thought that with I had about 50% of the lung capacity, and I think from my long term memory many years ago, I right now it's probably my third pulmonologist right now. From the first one telling me that I had about 50% lung capacity, I think that's what he was saying. But just before I went on the road trip with my friends, I saw my current pulmonologist, and he went through some of the data with me, and he said, "Oh, Sam, you right now your lung actually looks okay. It looks pretty good. There's no change between the last pulmonary function test that's been done like 3 to 5 years ago, and now it's still been pretty good." So there was no change, and he said you have about 70% lung capacity. I was like, wow, 70%? That's pretty good comparing to I thought I had 50%, but still, definitely, it's not a number that I would like, right? Right? You Everybody wants to be at 100%, but unfortunately, it is what it is because I don't have the expansion of the chest. So what can I say? Because of my condition is caused by the ankylosing spondylitis of the fusion. Some people can be caused by chest wall issues or other conditions. It's just a horrible disease. Ankylosing spondylitis has done a lot more damages than that. That's why I was gonna get to this lung capacity thing later on, because I have so much more to talk about, which is AS. And here are the machines that does the pulmonary function test. These are the bigger machines that generally is in the hospital settings. You got machines here where a person sits here, just like this particular gentleman sitting here. The nose is clipped. The mouth is biting into a particular hose, and the technician will give you instructions on when to breathe, and you got to breathe really hard, and when to exhale, and you got to blow out everything really hard. And then they'll do some quick breathing and quick blowing. There's a number of tests that is done, and they'll take the average. You do this multiple times, and I think the whole process would take about a good at least 30 minutes to 45 minutes. There's quite a few different process in order to come up with these particular charts for the doctor. And again, these are in the hospital setting with the bigger machines. And in the older days, when my first pulmonologist, he has his own clinics. In a smaller doctor's office, you get small machines like that, but this is where you breathe in as well. You breathe in, breathe out. You still have a technician that will work with you. It's just a smaller machine. You get the same result. And even with much smaller offices, I recently went and took my one of my relative to a doctor, to a pulmonary doctor, that she only has one particular office and one clerk. It's a very small office, and that's what she has in there. It's a very small machine that she can do these tests on. The results would be very much the same. So again, here I want to basically the test is guided by a technician telling you how to proceed on these breathing methods, and you got to follow instructions before they can come out with your actual lung capacity. Oh, I was also they also gave me albuterol, which is what a lot of people use when they have asthma. With the COPD asthma, albuterol will actually relaxes the airway, or even open up the airway, and to see if there's any improvement into the actual function test. There wasn't any. They used the albuterol, and I was getting the same amount of airs out when I was breathing out. It's the same. It's the same as not using albuterol. So in restrictive lung, the albuterol didn't really make much difference. So am I the only person? So I keep talking about myself for having this restrictive lung disease. Is there anybody else out there that is like me, who has a complete fusion, or people with scoliosis, ankylosing spondylitis, that causing your spine and your rib cage. Are you guys all restricted from your chest expansion? Are you getting enough oxygens in? I actually like to hear from you guys to see how you guys manage your condition. I'd love to see how you guys dealing with it. Um, I'll talk about how I deal with my conditions on the next video. I just don't want to stretch this for too long. And it's been going on, like I said, going on for many, many years. And I'm sure it started right when my spine was fused. So it has been 20 somewhat years already. Again, love to hear from you if you are, dealing with the same particular issues. Leave me a message below and let me know how you guys dealing with it. Love to learn from you as well, because I do want to, at least get some more information. If there's things that I don't know, I would love to give it a try and see if it would help myself out. Anyway, that's all for this particular video. On the next video, I'll be talking about how I'm managing my lung capacities and what I do to try to improve it, what kind of treatment I have tried, and all that stuff. So again, thank you for watching. If you have anything to share, if you'd like to let me know how you're dealing with your conditions, please leave me a message. I would love to learn from you as well. I hope this information that I have talked about are a little helpful to other people as well, and hopefully we can share information like that, and we can all find these better days that we're looking for. So again, thank you for watching. If you like my video, please give me a like. It will help out with my algorithm, and if you want to subscribe, please do. Thank you. I will have more videos out in regards to all kinds of conditions that I have been dealing with, particularly with ankylosing spondylitis or autoimmune disease. It causes all kinds of problems. So thank you again. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.